The Mike Pressler Show here at Blackie's Bulldog Tavern. I'm Mike Mancuso, and I'm glad to be joined by Travis Harrington, senior attackman for the Bulldogs. Now, prior to Bryant, you were a high school All-American and a four-year starter at Veston Senior High School in New York, and you set all kinds of school records, career goals, assists, points, so you just dominated, I guess, at your school. How old were you when you started playing lacrosse, and how did that all come about?
I started playing lacrosse when I was 5 years old. My dad used to actually play through high school. He started in 9th or maybe 10th grade, and he fell in love with the sport. Like, he's a big-time lax rat, and he definitely wanted me to pursue his dream of going to Division I. And I kind of just progressed through high school, and he was basically my individual coach, and he actually coached my youth leagues and all that. And I played with this group of guys ever since I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
And by the time we got to our my senior year, we were expected to do big things, but we were plagued with injuries and things like that. But I just played with a lot of a great group of guys, and I was the beneficiary of most of them. One of them's actually playing at Binghamton University right now. Another one went to Drexel, and we're a highly potent offense back in high school.
And now, when you were deciding where to play in college, how did you decide upon Bryant University?
Coming out of high school, I really wasn't that highly recruited. Coach, in my opinion, does a great job recruiting diamonds in the rough, and I think I was definitely one of those. And talking to a lot of my friends who were being recruited, because I played for a big-time travel team, and one of my best friends, who actually plays at Hofstra now, he said when he was talking with Coach Tierney, he knew that this was the place he wanted to go.
Yep.
And I never actually had that feeling with any of the places I was going to visit, but after I met with Coach P in August of going into my senior year, after meeting with him, it was just an incredible experience meeting him, and after that, I knew this is who I want to play for my 4 years here.
And now, as a senior on this team, how do you define your role? I know you're not a captain, but you're part of, I think, a tight-knit unit as the senior class.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I know I'm not a captain, but I know a lot of the guys look up to me. I need to go out there and act through carrying on our team values, loyalty, trust, the truth, just everything that Coach P hammers into our heads, being the man of your word.
Yep. And now, what's it like being a part of the first team in Bryant lacrosse history that's cracked the national rankings?
It's definitely a great experience, but we can't just be reading the headlines here number 19. It's still beginning of April.
Right.
Every game that we play from here on out, it's definitely a playoff game for us, basically, because if we lose, we're not going to make the NCAA tournament, and that's what we're shooting for. That's been our goal ever since we've made the D1 transition.
Right.
And that's definitely what I want to do to end out my career.
And now, this season has already had its share of memorable games. The big comeback against Drexel, the overtime win against Stony Brook. What's been your most memorable game here at Bryant?
I actually have two. Definitely this year, definitely being Drexel, coming back from down
awesome.
5-0, against a great team. But probably my second most memorable memory is my freshman year, the last game that Zach Greer actually played. Just being a part of Coach P and Zach Greer and that whole experience overall, and just witnessing him tie the most points ever. It was just an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, he was an absolute stud. I got to see him play as well. Now, last season your team was 3-5 in one-goal games. This year you're 3-1, and you somehow find a way to close the door. What's been the biggest difference in to be able to seal the deal in some of these games?
I think our maturity. I think we've begun to buy into the program. Coming into last year, offensively, we weren't really used to our offensive schemes, but now we're just buying into it overall. And I also think that Coach P is working with a younger defensive group, and they're buying into that scheme, and we're just tough. Yep. We're nails tough, and that reflects our leadership in Coach Pressler. He's nails tough, and just game in and game out. Yep. If we're not the most skilled team, but we're going to get it done.
Definitely. And now, I've asked all your teammates that have been on the show already if they have any strange rituals or superstitions or things they might go through on a game day. Do you have any of those such things?
I don't really have any superstitions per se, but every Friday night or whenever before a game, I always have to eat 3 slices of plain pizza. I don't know, it's a weird thing. But that's mainly the only thing I have. I know Jameson has his thing.
Yep.
And, some other guys have their Dunkin' Donut rituals on our team, but I don't really have one of those.
It's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Well, we know you've got a very busy week. You got a couple of games, and then, of course, you're winding down play. So we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way out
Thanks
here.
for having me.
So Senior Attackman Travis Harrington, when we return, we'll have a preview of this week's upcoming game against Quinnipiac here on the Mike Pressler Show at Cox Sports Television.